All right, let's go over this pronouns worksheet. Well, we'll go over the notes first and then we'll get into the worksheet. So, first we have to talk about different cases in the sentence before we get into the pronouns that are going to be replacing the nouns in these cases. So, in English, there are three cases: nominative, objective, and possessive. And we are going to choose the pronoun based on what case the noun is being used in that we're replacing. So I have some examples here. Nominative: my dentist has opened a new practice in the office building next to the mall. Now, whenever you see nominative, I want you to think noun. Nominative, noun. Okay. So my dentist is a noun, and it's the subject of the sentence, and the subject is always going to be a noun. You would replace dentist with something that you can find down in the table below in the nominative case column. He opened a new practice in the office building next to the mall, right? Okay. Let's move on to objective. Objective is going to be either a direct or indirect object in the sentence. That noun is being replaced with a pronoun if you're choosing to use a pronoun to be less specific. Okay, so the receptionist who works for my dentist recently graduated from junior college. The receptionist graduated from junior college, but we have this extra information. It's an indirect object, my dentist. You would say, if you look down in the objective case, you replace it, since it's third person, you replace it with him. My receptionist who works for him recently graduated from junior college. Now, in possessive case, scrolling down a little bit, only in the possessive case does a noun change its form, usually by adding an apostrophe and an S. Okay, we know that. We know how to make things possessive. My dentist's business is thriving. His business is thriving. Personal pronouns, however, have distinct case forms. In the following example, the pronouns in boldface all refer to the same person. They have different forms because they're different uses. Okay, so here's a sentence that has all three forms at the same time. I forgot to bring my notebook with me. An example of all three right there. So this table is just for your reference, and you can kind of come back to it whenever you are confused about which pronoun should be used. I know that whenever you do this, you're just going to do what sounds right, and that is how we operate all the time. And that's fine, but the whole point of learning this and being instructed with grammar is to understand why we choose this, okay? So there's the three cases listed here: first, second, and third person, what you would use in that case. All right, so let's take a look at, on the next page, how we change things, how we look at the noun in the sentence, and what we want to replace it with is based on the case that the noun is in. So here's our example. I told Philip that we would win. I is the subject of told. We is the subject of would win. So nominative, you're changing the pronouns. You're replacing the nouns with pronouns based on the noun being in the nominative case. Here's another example. Were Renata and he on time? Kind of sounds weird. We don't really talk in this way. I mean, we should talk in this way, but it's really formal, right? We would think it's formal. Renata and he are the compound subject of were, and were is the verb. Okay. Renata and he, if you took out Renata and, you would say, was he on time? We're changing the verb, of course, because of the subject change. But it makes sense, right? So that's why he needs to stay. Okay. Objective case. Objective case pronouns: me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. They're used as direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of the preposition. So let's look at some examples here. Phil called her last night. Phil's the subject. Phil's calling someone. Her is telling us whom Phil called. We still don't know what caused them. Them is the result of the action caused. So these are the objects, they're in the object slot in the sentence. And that's why we have to use the objective case version of the pronoun. Moving on to possessive case. So this one is going to be kind of obvious, right? The personal pronouns in the possessive case, my, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, it's, ours, their, and theirs, are used to show ownership or possession. And this can be in any slot in the sentence. So here we go, buckle up. Your car and mine need tune-ups. This backpack is hers, predicate nominative. We finished ours yesterday. Mrs. Kwan gave theirs a quick review. Next to yours, my Siamese cat looks puny. And here's all the different ways it's being used as the subject, your car and mine, compound subject. This backpack is hers, predicate noun there. We finished ours. This is really vague whenever we start using all these pronouns, right? But these are like pulled out of a conversation that's already happening, and hopefully everyone is on the same page and knows what's going on. If you have any questions about any of this at any point, make sure you tune in to one of my Zoom meetings during the week so we can talk about it. So here's some more examples of possessive pronouns. My alarm clock. They're kind of being used as adjectives, right? Whose alarm clock is it? It's describing the alarm clock. It's my alarm clock. It is their address. Do you know their address? Generally, a noun or pronoun preceding a gerund should be in possessive case. We love a gerund. We are all thrilled by Ken's scoring in the top 5%. Scoring is the gerund. It's describing who's scoring, right? Ken's scoring. And we change it to his whenever we replace that noun with a pronoun. Okay, now, this who and whom debacle, I'm going to try and explain it by using what we already have listed on that page of notes up there. So, understanding when to use this comes into play. We have to take the case into play. You say who or whoever when it is the subject of the sentence, the nominative case. Remember back when I was talking about nominative case, we have to make sure we're using it only in the subject. So that means if it's not the subject and it's the object, the objective case, you have to use whom. Whom is grammatically correct. And we've talked in class about how we only choose to use, like we use things that are actually bad grammar, but we don't want to sound like we're a know-it-all and we don't want to sound like pretentious. So if we use who in the objective case, grammatically, it's wrong. But you probably just sound like everybody else, and that way we're not sticking out. But I'm here to tell you that using whom is correct when it's the objective case. So I will give you is an example. Let's go to number 7 on the practice. I'll give you this answer here. Sorry for those of you who have already done it, but here it is. The winner is whoever finishes first, whomever finishes first. Now, we might automatically say whoever because we don't know when to use whom, we stay away from whom because it's scary, it's the unknown. But we're going into the unknown. Whomever is the correct response. The winner is whomever. Whomever is the direct object in the sentence, so that means we have to use whom or whomever. So that's the correct answer. So don't be afraid to use it because you want to be right. Even though you may stick out a little bit, you want to be right. So go ahead and try these practice problems and then we can chat about it tomorrow. But I hope that me going through the couple pages of notes was helpful to you. I really felt like I was rambling. Write down some questions that you have for me and bring them to the Zoom meeting. If you can't tune in or you don't want to tune in and you want to send me an email, go ahead and send me an email. That's totally fine. I'm okay with that. But I just figured using a Zoom meeting would be better to kind of actually have a conversation about this stuff. Sometimes it's hard to communicate things through email, so Zoom might be better. All right, good luck.